This is live from AJM Studios. You got what? What about it? Podcast. How you guys doing today? This is Bruce, aka the Weathered Soul. We are here again to give you an hour's worth of, well, at least an hour's worth of good entertainment tonight. We just hope you stick around and just be entertained by us. And here we go. How you guys doing? This is Bruce, aka the Weathered Soul. I'm kind of in my not in my real realm here. I'm at AJM Studios, finally here at AJM Studios. I've been trying to get this studio. It's a backdrop to my late son's room, and I just wanted you guys to welcome you here because this is the backdrop that you're going to have for the rest of forever. It'll change around a little bit as we get more of the studio intact, but I just want to welcome you to what, which is the What About This podcast, and we're just coming up with name after name after name after we drop the Weathered Soul moniker. But I would just want to have you in here because we are still here every couple of weeks. We're going to drop one of these. I can't promise you every week, but right now we are having some bad technical difficulties. I apologize for the video quality on my side and the audio quality if there's any drop in that, and I just wanted to apologize on that. I had a last minute faux pas where my desktop went down and it just and the sound went off, and just all kinds of things just happening here. Always loud and proud, and just always stuff happening here. And as always, here we go. I have my DJ Dougie is here with us. How you doing, DJ Doug? How's it going, buddy?
It's going well, thank you.
It's good to have you here, man. This is the reason why we're here, is because DJ Dougie is the podcast. You know, I touch over him every week, and it's been a couple of weeks, man. And we just like to have Dougie here all the time because he's the one that keeps me on the ground, and you know, because sometimes I kind of like to float up in the air, and we're kind of going to revert back into our old Weathered Soul podcast type stuff, but not as hard and heavy as we used to. We like to lambaste the establishment and get on the mainstream news and kind of lampoon that. But you know, we're all about community is unity here now, and we just want to make sure that everybody knows that, you know, no matter what's happening in this world, no matter what side you're on, whether you're right, left, center, libertarian, Democrat, Republican, wherever you're at, we're all together. We're all community, and we all should be unitized together, because really, when it comes right down to it, you're not asking your neighbor what they are when they need a hand or help up or anything like that, because that's just not how we are, and that's how we're doing today. But we got two in the room right now. We hope that a whole bunch of people are watching us. We got an audio podcast that'll be going on after this called What? WAT, which is the What About This, and it'll be on anchor.fm. I have none of my banners out tonight because I wasn't able to load anything up and stuff like that, so we just got a bare show. But we have a very, very special guest tonight, and he's been on the Weathered Soul podcast before. I think he was one of the first people that I've ever had on this podcast, on the Weathered Soul podcast, and we're just going to have him again because he's a great guy. As you know, that a lot of people suffered during the pandemic. You know, when they closed down, it's almost about a year ago. March 16th, I believe, was the last day that I was able to see anything live performance or anything like that. It was over after March 16th, and one of the last people I ever saw on stage was this man that we're going to introduce to you right now. I want to introduce to you singer-songwriter out of Watsonville, California, Michael Gaither. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. Are Doug and I the only two watching right now? Do we count as the two, or is it like people out there?
No, there's other people out there. In fact, I can get over to the private chat because we have a private chat. God bless you for watching. We got the comments. The comments are up on StreamYard if you want to come on. I have nobody that's actually out there in Facebook land or in YouTube land that is monitoring the text or the messages, but the text messages are open. So if you guys want to comment and stuff, we would more appreciate you guys to comment. But we're more enthused about you guys watching, and as you guys listen on the audio podcast, we'd like you to go to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating, and maybe leave a comment or two, because me and Dougie loves comments. And there's Facebook unit. What's up, my brother? And we all know who What's Up, my brother is, and we'll just say hi to Josh. How you doing, Josh? Say hi, Josh.
Hi, Josh. Thanks for watching.
Josh is a longtime listener. I've been on his podcast, the Fen podcast. And he's got a really good podcast up there. Catch it if you can. Forsyth Farms. He deals in quail eggs. I also want to put a punch out for a good friend of mine, John Odermatt, who's been on this podcast also before. And he has a coffee company called Run Your Mouth Coffee. And let me tell you, it is some good freaking coffee. And him and his buddy Ben has just got into the business. RYM Coffee. Was rymcoffee.com. Mention me in the podcast. Mention stomach. STOMACH, like in the pit of your stomach podcast, the other podcast that I got, and you'll get 10% off of your order, and you'll also get free shipping. So that's Run Your Mouth Coffee. Check it out on Facebook. Type it into your Google thing, and it'll take you right to the podcast or the website. And you can go get some real excellent coffee. And I love their coffee. I have it every weekend, and I'm about to have it every day because they came out with 2-pound bags. and I love my coffee. Got to have my coffee.
Coffee sounds really good right now.
Oh, let me tell you, if I didn't have to go to sleep tonight, I'd have some coffee.
I'm going to place my order after the show.
But anyway, this show is all about Mike tonight. We just want to welcome him back to the podcast. And Mike,
good to be here. Good to be here.
It's a different podcast. It's a different flavor than what we had last time. Sometimes, we get in here and we corner people with what we're talking about. But this podcast is all about you. And it's actually just about what we've been doing in this past year. And the music industry took a real big hit. I mean, all over the place. Even the big names have taken hits. But more or less, the independent songwriters, those small people that played the coffee shops and the small festivals and things like that have really taken a hit if they didn't have anything else going on job wise. So, I mean, you've been a part of that. I mean, I know that you've been working and things like that because, we all kind of have 9-to-5s, but we all love music and we all love to play music, and people got creative. And I just wanted to know how you done, because I've been watching you throughout the year, just doing things and just
trying to find shit to do.
Tell us how you Tell us how you're doing, buddy. Tell us how
let's see. I'm fine. I've actually been really fortunate, unlike a lot of people. You're right. I think March 15th is kind of when everything shut down last year. And then to go back that far, I think the last, kind of band show I did was the local station, Capic, had an anniversary show. And we were one of the bands there. And we went to a club called Michael's on Main in SoCal. And that was really the weekend when COVID was really, masks weren't enforced yet, but it was all, that's the weekend that all kind of became real. And a lot of people backed out. I still went and played, and we didn't even have masks yet, but we were just kind of keeping our distance because we knew it was really a thing. Even, we won't get into the politics of it. We covered that on the last show. But it was the last time that I played with that band. And a lot of us were kind of walking around going, should we be here? I mean, somebody loaned me a capo. And when I give it back to her, she Purelled it off. And that was because it was all new. We didn't know what was right and wrong. So I did that. And then everything just went shut down. Gigs were canceled and that whole thing. Yeah. And that happened. And then, I was writing. And like you say, I work locally for a part-time for a radio station. And then I also do some contract work kind of part-time, which supplements all this. So I've never actually had to depend on this, even though I've been doing it full, a lot for about 20 years. Mm-hmm. So I did that. And then around April, I thought, well, let's try this live streaming thing that everybody else is doing. So I did that for a while and got some gear from home and just did the solo thing kind of from this position on Facebook once or twice a week. And, mm-hmm. It was fun. But after a while, I thought, okay, I've done that, Yeah. And it was really hard, though, on people that do this solely for a living and have to tour. And you couldn't tour. And you couldn't play locally. That just, so I think the live stream thing, a lot of people, that's kind of all they had if they didn't do anything else besides music. And it was really tough. And then knowing a little bit about the radio side, I know that record releases slowed down last year because there's an old joke where you make a record so you can tour and make money, and you tour and make money so you can come back and then make the next record. It's just, that's kind of the reality of a lot of it, especially if you're independent. And that other piece, people couldn't go up. People were holding back on their releases and releasing singles. And so that just really hit a lot of people.
Yeah.
So things are slowly opening up now, but it's going to be really gradual.
Well, it looks like the Middle America kind of opened back up a lot sooner than we are opening back up. Of course, we've opened and closed and everything else. So we've got friends, like in Nashville and stuff like that. And they've been, I'm not sure if they've been able to play. I mean, Antsy McLean, I'm not sure what he's doing live wise or anything else like that, but I'm sure that that they've got a little bit more freedom than we have right now as far as being able to play live. But
they're still not really touring though. I've got a friend locally who's he's actually my friend he's local, Dana Hubbard, great guitar player. And he was from Monterey, ended up living in Texas. He was a touring musician, had an RV. And I was talking to him last summer and he goes, I got to get out of Texas. He says, I don't know how I can get back to the Bay Area, but nobody here wears masks. He was really scared. It was Texas. And I said, we've got some property. Why don't you just bring your trailer out here and get back home? So, So what he's doing, the point is, he's contacting, because he's got a pretty good circuit of house concerts and places he can play across the country. So he's actually contacting people and asking, can I book a year out? At some point, that's kind of he's looking. I think Nancy's. You'll start seeing a lot of artists that we follow and know and play locally, the places we know of, are booking dates like in spring, which is hope they're. You got to pick something, I guess.
Right. I've seen some people that are booking out already. A lot of people are playing in Florida. A lot of people went to Florida. I mean, I'll have to admit that a lot of the people that I listen to went straight to Florida because they're open and they're playing clubs. And a lot of the comedians, I follow the comedian circuit, and a lot of them started out in the drive-ins. People were doing drive-ins again, and then they were actually doing drive-ins out here at the fairgrounds over in Livermore or Pleasanton. They were doing some drive-in stuff there, but over in Florida they were doing a lot of stuff that is live and going on. Hi, Tom. Tom's online. How you doing, Tom? But it's just got to be real different for everybody right now. I know Ronnie Cox has started touring again in limited places. Yeah, I saw him post the other day, and it's starting to start back up. And I know that you're starting to start back up, and you've got a small gig over in a winery over in Corralitos. And
I got really fortunate. I kind of never. Well, I don't want to say never stopped playing, but I ended up with this regular. So with me, there's a local winery, El Vaquero Winery. Come see us.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It was around June, and there's a club in SoCal called Michael's Amana Restaurant that books a lot of music, and they were able to open back up, and I got offered to play there, and I think a lot of people did, and I said I'm not really comfortable playing indoors yet, and so a lot of people, but they did music for a while. They've been off and on, but they're back on and kind of ramping up. This winery down the road, El Vaquero, when I was home doing the live stream thing in front of my computer and trying something. I started on my website. I was blogging about, you can still go to this brewery we used to play at and buy their beer and keep them up. You can go to this one. So the places I was playing that weren't really open and definitely not booking music, I was just trying to remind people, you can go support these local businesses that have been really nice to us. And so with the winery, I was talking to the owner, Bob, in the spring, and I said, hey, how about next week I come out and I live stream from the winery. You don't have to pay me. Just give me a glass of wine. I want to just plug the winery, and just to kind of remind people you're out here. And so we were having that conversation. He's like, sure, come on down, because it's right over there. And then a week before, he calls me and he says, we just got the okay to open up. Would you be okay playing in the patio for 45 minutes? And I said, I think so, because it was outdoors. And so I went. And I just played 45 minutes. Everybody had masks. It was all, they really did it right. It's like you couldn't walk into the patio without a mask. And the tables were spaced apart. Every time you got a new glass of wine, you got a new glass. You were really careful about it. And that kind of evolved into pretty much an every Friday gig from July on. And I did it and they just kept bringing me back. And they were doing a couple of things on the weekend, but being really careful about it. And then a couple of months went by, and I've told this story a lot, but a couple of months went by, people were showing up. It was kind of the only game in town. And I thought, I really need to share this with my friends who weren't playing right now. I got to let other people do this too. So I started bringing in special guests. I brought in Christy McCarthy, Alex Cicero, some other people as well, Lauren Wall, and Derek Bodkin. And so it was kind of a chance for Bob to get to know the local music community. So he started booking these people for their own weekend shows, and I kept doing the guest thing. And that went on until like mid-December.
Yeah.
We shut down. There were the holidays, and they've just opened back up, and now I'm doing it again, kind of on the weekends, but he's booking other bands as well.
Yeah, we noticed that was going on. Yeah. So the Weathered Souls have also been booking. So we've been offered to open up for Thousand Trails over in Morgan Hill. So we're opening up their music series, and we're closing down the music series there. So it's gonna be a fun time. And
but that's still a couple of weeks out though, right? That's like what, July?
Oh yeah, that's way in July. It's not until July that they're going to open up their series, and then they close it down the first week in October. So it's just like we're going to play 2-hour set straight through. We're not going to have any breaks or nothing. It's just 2 hours. We've learned how to play that place.
So Abby went up over the hill to see Michael play last weekend.
That was so fun. It was great to see. I didn't see Abby since 2019, which seems like 5 years ago because 2020 was 5 years long.
Yeah, it was.
And it was a really good. That was this guy Alex Cicero played, and he and I, instead of doing the back and forth thing, we just sat up there and just traded songs for 3 hours. I had a couple of bandmates come, and it was a party with masks and distance. Right?
She said, it felt kind of strange to be in that environment. Normally when you're out in public right now, you're in the grocery store, you're at the hardware store, you're, maybe in the doctor's office or the liquor store, but that was almost like a semi-normal human life event, and it felt strange to her. It's really sad.
I do this line, and it's like I got to stop doing it because I do it every time. But every time somebody laughs at it, so I keep doing it. I always go, "Oh, it's so nice to see people out here." It's like vintage 2019, and someone laughs when I do it again. It's like I just gotta. It's like I hate those songwriters that have their one joke they do all the time. That really drives me bonkers.
You've just got to
if you follow them.
Yeah, you've just got to make light of it right now because we all have different feelings about what's going on, and some people are. It just depends on where you're at in it, and
a lot of people still, even a lot of people now, they won't go out and play, which is fine. I mean,
which is fine. Yeah, that's fine too.
I got offered a few. I mean, I don't have like 500,000 fans, but there was a few places in the county. I guess because I was out playing, and maybe because I worked for the radio station, I had a little more visibility. It's the facade you put up to the rest of the world.
Yeah, some people have started to figure out the the live shows, video shows, where there's a large audience and you donate to a PayPal account or something like that. So they get it and they're playing. Whatever, the band would play together in a studio. And of course,
they're separated,
if that's how they feel, or if they know each other close enough and know that everybody is safe, maybe a little bit closer, kind of like a family thing. But we've watched a couple of those. I think we watched one that was sponsored through Eric, and one that was through the band itself. Let me just check.
Yeah.
But as far as the shows too, there were a few indoor places that asked me to play a couple of times, and I said, I don't think I'm comfortable yet because plus my wife and I were shopping for 4 elders. So
exactly.
I mean, for me, going to the winery was kind of a push, but I felt safe out there, and I still do. And even like now, so my point was there were people that still won't go out and play because you're being careful, which is fine. I get it. And there's some people that still won't go out.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with being careful. I mean, if you're part of that population that's going to be susceptible to having a bad reaction to COVID. I mean, I don't count myself in that crowd, but I've got a 90-year-old mom and a 75-year-old mother-in-law. I mean, we have to be careful, basically we do, and then, we got some older people in our company that haven't been in, I've been going to the office. I know you've been, you've been doing your gigs and, and you also with K-Pig and stuff, but I'd like to touch on the community and the unity that we've found actually over the years. And I know it started out really slow with the community actually coming together and unifying over something, because it's been very divisive. It really has. But I think within the friendship loop and within the community of music itself, and especially since you are associated with K-Pig, because I forgot to mention that you were a DJ and filling in on a bunch of spots over at K-Pig, which is the local radio station, one of the only independent radio stations that are left in the U.S. And luckily Mike is a disc jockey there, and he likes to play music from there. But what I'm saying is that there must have been some kind of a community and unity outreach that's going on there. I'd like you kind of to touch on that and tell us how that situation felt all the way through to up to where we're at now.
Yeah,
I stumped him.
No, I was thinking about how things changed right away. I think one of the big things was, again, it's kpig.com. The nice thing about the station is all the music is picked by the disc jockeys. There's no one telling us what to play. We have a format, it's Americana, blues, folk, a little classic rock, some comedy, some singer-songwriter, and we kind of have these lanes we stay in. We have a library, but we're still given pretty much a lot of freedom to play what we want within the format. But the format's like 30,000 songs, and we have a lot of room. And every DJ kind of has their own flavor when they're on the air. The first thing that changed was, COVID, no guests in the studio. It's like, okay, that makes sense. So between shifts, we wipe everything down, and then masks and we all know each other really well, and everybody's really careful. And so that was the first big change. I think the next big change was there's a Sunday morning show called Please Stand By, which has been on for, I think we've crossed 2,000 shows, and I'm probably underestimating it. But every Sunday morning, it's 4 live bands, artists. It could be anybody from a touring Austin musician to like a local chorus from a high school, a lot of local musicians. That had to get cut off. So what we've been doing is running the best of Please Stand By. So Sleepy John Sandage, who's been hosting that show forever, as one of the original K-Pig DJs, we've been doing like a best of show. So that was a big change. And then he started doing for the last act that he played a recording of, he would set up a phoning interview. And it's before COVID, we really frowned on phoners. Like, no, you got to come into the studio for an interview. And there's a show on Wednesday nights called Neighborhood Night where Jamie Coffis has somebody come into the station, play, and now he phones artists in. So the big change was nobody live in the studio. But what happened over the course of most of last year, I had a regular Tuesday midday shift in addition to all my fill-ins. So that's a really good time of day, and a lot of people would call in and just appreciate the fact that K-Pig was on the air. I mean, we've got a really strong local following, and the fact that we were still there on the air and it was still live, that was just really, really appreciated. And then we did another series called Upstream with the Pig.
I remember that. Yeah.
Eileen and I at K-Pig kind of put it together, and so we've done about maybe 8 of them where we'd have an artist that we were kind of playing new do a live stream, and I would actually, because I do all the web and the social media stuff for K-Pig. So I would give them access, and they would actually live stream on our K-Pig page, Facebook page, during the evening. So that's kind of the best we've been able to do we're trying to be really unique. We also did, in the spring, we did a cover of the Grateful Dead song Ripple. Mm-hmm. And we did it as a sort of a playing for change style video. So Keith Greninger produced a music track, great local.
Oh, fantastic. Great guy.
So he did a music track. We had about 12 people, myself included, Keith, Dan Kai, Sherry Austin, Tammy Brown, I'm forgetting Sharon Allen, Jimmy Norris, like I always say, I get to hang out with the cool kids again, and I'll record themselves at home and do a video of themselves. Keith took the music tracks and just edited this beautiful piece together, and then I kind of project managed all the video stuff. How hard could that be with different formats? And so I pulled that together, and then we had a guy named Andy Senzak, a local video guy who does a lot of music videos. He took all of that and made this beautiful video. So that was sort of our shelter in place video, and that came out in May. So we've tried to do things during COVID that kind of because we can't do live shows right now, but we try to be creative and just not do more than just play music, which is still a big deal.
Yeah. It sounded like everybody kind of eventually came back together, and things were kind of getting back semi-normal, and just it's gonna be. We still have a long way to go. We still got this vaccination out, and only certain people are getting the vaccination. My both my mothers are telling me, when are you guys getting vaccinated? I mean, we're way down the food chain, so I mean, we're not even considered yet. I mean, so it's probably not. Yeah, exactly. It's not. And hey, speaking of staying healthy, I'm gonna take a little break here, but we're talking about health right now, and I just thank everybody for being here. There's 7 in the room right now. If you're watching on YouTube, please click that share button and hit that like button and everything, because we need people out there that want to listen, give comments. Go out to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. But I wanted to talk to you about your health, about your immune system health, because I happen to be in a company that deals with plant-based supplements and probiotics called Plexus. And Plexus has been doing wonders for me. I've been on this system since about June with my friend John Odermatt. And let me tell you something, I really truly believe in my heart, because that I have changed in such a way with my gut health that talks between my brain and my gut, that a lot of these things with my immune system have helped me throughout this COVID pandemic, at least from not getting the flus or anything like that. I've been healthy, and I've been losing weight and all kinds of things. You can be a part of it too. And all you got to do is watch my podcast, In the Pit of My Stomach. And that comes on twice a month. It's on YouTube too. You can get it if you're tuning into YouTube right now. You're at the Weather Soul Liberty Network. So all you got to do is hit that little bell right there, and it'll let you know when the In Pit of Your Stomach podcasts come on. But if you need to get a hold of me, Bruce McGee at protonmail.com. Bruce McGee at protonmail.com. If you want to know anything about plant-based supplements and probiotics, I'm telling you, it makes a world of difference. And I just want to thank you guys for that, giving me that little plug time, because it's my spot. But Michael, I do have a video that's queued up for you, but I would love to give you the opportunity to play it live if you'd like to, or we can share the video with our audience tonight. That's up to you. You're running the show here, buddy. How would you like to do that?
Let's see. Am I going to play again later?
You're going to play again later. Yeah, you're going to play after this. I just wanted to let them know that you have some videos out there. You have music out there. You have of course, you have a blog site, and we would love to hear you play. So
I'm wondering, because I have a sequel to this, the video that you have queued up. I have a sequel song to it. Would you want to play the video, then hear the new song later?
Let's do that.
That's an idea. Yeah.
Let's do that. Well, kick back, guys, and we're going to give you Michael's latest video and his latest song. And
Can I set it up?
You set it up. Go ahead.
So I wrote quite a few songs last year. Had a few recorded, and it was 2020 because did you read the news? A lot of shit happened last year, and I tried not to be too specific in my songs, but this one really was kind of my take on 2020. And a couple of things happened where we decided to go ahead and record the song, kind of as a sort of my time capsule song for the year. And then my friend Richard Newman heard the song. He's a great videographer as well. And he said, let's do a video. So he and I just kind of came up with this song, and it's called See You on the Other Side.
Here we go.
I try not to read the news, wash my hands like Howard Hughes, wondering how long this will last. Home alone is how I live, holed up like a fugitive. I even wear a mask, but I'm hopeful if you ask. 'Cause I'll see you on the other side, when we stumble off this bumpy ride. Wild turns, uncharted places, scary times, uneasy faces. buckle up and hold on tight, and I'll see you on the other side. Our day-to-day's been put on hold. I can't help but wonder though if some good might come from this. Maybe all this time apart reminded us of who we are, and that we need each other to exist, or at least to figure out what day it is. I'll see you on the other side when we stumble off this bumpy ride. Wild turns, uncharted places, scary times, uneasy faces. Buckle up and hold on tight. I'll see you on the other side. I'll see you on the other side when we stumble up this bumpy ride. Wild turns, uncharted places, scary times, uneasy faces. Buckle up and hold on tight, and I'll see you on the other side. At an unsafe social distance, we'll meet with no resistance. Soon we'll be alright. And that St. Patrick's, Easter, de Mayo, Earth, Mothers, Fathers, Memorial Day, graduation, celebration, 4th of July, Halloween, Dia de los Muertos, Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, winter solstice, Christmas, Boxing Day, Kwanzaa, New Year's Eve parties. Gonna be wild. I'll see you on the other side.
Very nice, Michael. Very nice. Way to go, buddy.
Little FYI, if you watch the video again, it actually plays fast. There was some lag there. It actually that was pulled back a couple of clicks, but it's the internet. It's
it's the internet, dude. It's the way. It's the wave of the future, man.
I like the statement with the toilet paper rolls, beginning and the end.
That was Richard's idea. He called me. He goes, he'll get, because I'll give him a storyboard. We've done several. Go to the website, michaelgaither.com. We've done several videos, and I'll give him a storyboard. And it's kind of like co-writing or collab. I'm like, this is what I'm thinking. It's all yours. He'll call and he goes, I have this idea, which makes me kind of take a step back. And he mentioned the toilet paper, and I'm like, perfect. That's the image it's about Spotify and all of that's the image I use, because it's just, what says 2020 better than toilet paper?
Really.
Well, you know what, Michael? It really astounds me, because I know that you've done this before, where you work with other artists over Skype and other means of communications. So doing something like this, I believe to you've had practice at it already, because I've heard your stories before on how you collaborate with Steve Kritzer and things like that. So I mean, but this was amazing for me to see this, during the COVID crisis. I just laughed, and you've been writing some fantastic songs to me. One of my favorite ones was the Day Drinker, and that's another one of my favorite. I think that was one of the first ones you came out with.
That was the first single during COVID. It was
it was a fantastic one. I'd love to hear that one tonight, but I know that you've got a follow up to this one, and we're just open to hear all kinds of music from you. So
Why don't I play the follow-up, and then we have time. The drinking song's really short, but I'll play the follow-up. How's that?
Fantastic.
All right.
Yeah,
There we go.
right on. Live.
How's my level?
Your levels are fine.
So quick setup. This is the sequel. I actually wrote this. It was the last song I wrote last year. I actually wrote this over Skype with my friend John Cirillo in Nashville, who wrote the last one with me too. And, I wrote this with the idea that at some point we'd be out playing in front of people again.
Hey, my friend, where you been? Seems like forever, over and over again. Fog's finally clear, always like you were always here. Don't just stand there, come on in. Welcome back to the land of the living. Welcome back from the long dark night. Welcome back to what we've been missing. Good to see you at last, and your smile behind the mask. All I can say to that is welcome back. This whole world should change a lot. Time to recall everything I forgot. Grew a beard, shaved it off, held my breath every time I coughed. And there's nothing left on Netflix I ain't watched. Welcome back to the land of the living. Welcome back from the long dark night. Welcome back to what we've been missing. Good to see you at last, and your smile behind the mask. All I can say to that is welcome back. There's so much more that I could say. All that matters is we're here today. Welcome back to the land of the living. Welcome back from the long dark night. Welcome back to what we've been missing. Good to see you at last, and you smile behind the mask. All I can say to that is welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Nice. Very nice. I love it, Mike. I love your writing, dude. You're just you're just off the cuff, man. I actually have finally picked up my guitar after a long time, but and everybody knows. Yeah. Everybody knows why, but yeah, I've just been getting ready.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah, I've just been getting ready for this gig, and it's just like it really kicked me in the butt, and man, I was there was Abby again. And to tell you the truth, dude, after Anthony's passing away, it was really tough to pick up the guitar again and start singing, because every time that I would sing something, he would be singing it with me.
I know. And, I know.
He loved music.
I know he did. Yeah.
But Eddie called me up the other day, and told me, he says, "Yeah, hey, they want us back." I'm going like, "Who wants us back?" Oh, 1,000 Trails, they want us back. I'm going like, "Okay, all right," I'm going okay. But actually, once I got back into my my ultimate guitar tab list, and stuff like that. I started playing again, and it's really starting to come around, and
cool.
and you helped me out with a song, of course, for Anthony, and I'm still putting that together. Still not, I'm still writing, but I think
those songs take a lot of time.
Those songs take a lot of time. That one's going to take a lot of time.
Like I've written a few about my dad, but I still can't write about my mom, and it's been like 28 years. So
man, I'm telling you, it tugs at your heartstrings. But man, I'm telling you, just seeing you churn out the singles that you have in the last year is just really enlightening to me. And I'm
going to say, I always say this too, and I appreciate I appreciate that, and I think they're good. I have a lot of talented friends. I've been co-writing with a guy named John Cirillo. I got some people that play really well. I got some people that produce really well. But yeah, thanks. I mean, you don't do anything really cool by yourself.
No. It takes a whole community, and that's why I say, we're a community about unity, man. And that's what the name of this show is all about now. I mean, like I said, we went through 150 odd shows of lambasting, politicians and news and everything else that we can think of, but needed to sit back for a while, take a nice deep breath, and just, actually get back into the friendship and the community of things, man. And it just helps us a lot that you are here making music for us, giving us an opportunity to at least come out and see some live music, man. And I really appreciate that. And I'm excited for this summer, not only for myself to be able to go out and see make music, but go out and see music, because I am definitely going to put my toes back into the water. I mean, I think we've been out we went out one time in between where they shut down in between the shutdowns. And me and Tracy had breakfast over Pacific Grove. We took a drive down south, and it was very, very strange. It was very kind of it wasn't uneasy. It wasn't like you just had total freedom. It was just like everybody.
It's like muscle memory, because we've been conditioned to be careful, which is good. We've got out to eat maybe 4 times in the since last March, and outdoors, and even then you're like, even then it's like, I'm not going to pick up that pepper shaker because I don't understand it. Like you're thinking of stuff like that now.
You are thinking about this stuff like that.
We actually had a friend come down for breakfast because he was dealing with some health issues. So we came down for breakfast, and Cindy brought wipes, and she wiped off all the condiments. Like, that's what we're doing now.
Yep. Tracy's doing the same thing. So she's I'm a germaphobe anyway. So.
You trained for this.
I've been training for this for a long time.
Well, one good thing though is it's been no colds and flus this year because nobody's
that's just
in contact with for spreading them.
We were talking in church last week, and one woman said, she goes, I didn't get a cold all year because we've been doing this, so there. And I think we've built up some, and we're not going to be like immune to stuff, but but I think we have better habits. We know how to wash our hands,
right. But on the other hand, you want to exercise your immune system a little bit.
I know. I know it's a two-way thing, right?
And the first thing I did when the sun came out, the first thing I did was go stick my hands in the dirt. So me, I'm a gardener. My garden, my garden's going great, and man, I couldn't wait to get my hands in the dirt.
Yeah, we're not going to live in a bubble, but I think we've got better health practices. We have people, friends. There was a it was New Year's Day. I think it was 3 years ago this year. My wife and I both woke up on New Year's Day with like this nasty ass. I called it the zombie flu. It was just nasty. It was 3 years ago. And it was so bad that what's the long story? We were really sick, and it sucked. It became walking pneumonia. People were dropping off food. I wouldn't open the door for them. I said, you don't want to catch this. And that was after a really busy holiday with like seeing all these friends we love and hanging out, and probably 11 potlucks. And after that, we said, no more potlucks. We did not do. It was just like it certainly didn't help, And
hey, I used to get creeped out when I had to travel a lot. There'd be somebody behind me hacking the lung out, and I'm like putting the vent on and breathing through my sleeve, and it's like, but then on the other hand, when I was traveling a lot, even though I had a lot of exposure, maybe I got sick once a year.
Something too bad. You want to be able to fight it off too. But
but still, it's like, it's the two. I rarely got sick, considering how much exposure I had to people and their kids, and airports, and I was never fastidious about washing my hands, walking through airports, and then eating some pretzels on the airplane or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Didn't think about washing my hands, but I will now.
The potluck thing now too is like, I think it was last year, when 2019, which is year before last, right? We're in 2000, whatever the hell this is. And I remember went to a guitar party company potluck, and I remember they had bowls. I would go for like the bowls of chili, ladle up a fresh bowl, but like I could live on potato chips. There's always these tables with chips, and I'm like, I'm not going to touch the chips because people have been doing this,
Yeah,
So it's
double dipping. You can't double dip.
Where's the
we're just people grabbing the chips that have been there before,
Yeah, where's the sneeze guard?
Yeah. You can't double dip.
It's good to have good health practice. You don't want to be paranoid and become Howard Hughes, but I think we all have better health practices.
I think we will all come out of this with a lot better health practices and a lot more intuition about other things that will be going on, because we're going to get through this. There's no doubt about it that we're going to get through this. Vaccine or herd immunity, one of the two is going to happen, and probably both happen at the same time. And it really doesn't matter. We come out of here smarter, and we're going to come out of here stronger and stuff like that. But you know what? Like I said, Michael, this is your show. Play us some music, buddy. We'd love to hear you some more.
Here's your drinking son.
All right.
So I tell this story all the time, but I love the story behind this one. I was on K-Pick last spring, and somebody called in, and they said, I have a traffic update for you. And I always tell this story, but it really happened. He goes, I've got a traffic update for you. And I said, all right, because this was March, there was no traffic. And he really said, there was a DUI checkpoint at the corner of Kitchen and Hallway. And it took me about half a beat, and I went, that's really funny. I think it was a meme going around. It wasn't, but it was really funny. And I thought, well, I know an opening line when I hear one. So this is the first song I recorded while I recorded my parts at home. The other band members recorded their parts at home. I gave it to Henry Chadwick up in Ben Lomond, who's, he put it all together. And this is called Day Drinking Days. Past the DUI checkpoint between the kitchen and the hall. Nothing on my breath except borderline alcohol. There are places I should go, people I need to see. Right now I just rather stay here alone with me. Day drinking days, there's time to waste. I found nothing, 90 proof won't temporarily erase. It's Netflix, Doritos, Dr. Phil. You don't want a muscle tip. The sun goes down outside your window shades on these day drinking days. Won't go hungry. There's Domino's at the door. I get free delivery from the corner liquor store. I called in sick to work again. Don't think that's a crime. It's not a vice, it's just once or twice. I don't do this all the time. Day drinking days, there's time to waste. I found nothing, 90 proof won't temporarily erase. It's Netflix, Doritos, Dr. Phil. You don't move a muscle till the
negotiate on these day drinking days. Don't tell me this ain't crossed your mind at least a time or two. 'Cause what works for me occasionally just might work for you. Day drinking days, passing time away. Day drinking days, in my best PJs. Day drinking days, reruns of Lost in Space. Day drinking days, I'm down to Chardonnay. Day drinking days, kids, don't try this at home. Okay.
Right on.
Fantastic, Mike. Fantastic. Hey, the great Michael Gaither here. I want to thank him for being on the show, man. Mike, plug what's going on with you, your website, where you're going to be next, and what's going on with you, and we'll give you the floor just to say a good excerpt. And I just really love to thank you.
Thanks for listening, whether you're watching now or after the fact. Watching and listening. The website is michaelgaither.com, michaelgaither.com. KPIG Radio is kpig.com. Right now, you can find me at pretty much every weekend at El Vaquero Winery. Just look elvaquerowinery.com. I'm not there this weekend, but they have a show on. They have Derek Botkin's there on Saturday. There's an Irish band on Sunday. Good friends of mine both. I'm back there on March 6th with a couple of bandmates and Jim Lewin, who's played with Lacey J. Dalton, Great American Taxi. Just what great local guitar songwriter. We'll be there together on March 6th. And if you go to my website, again, michaelgaither.com, there's a bunch of dates coming up there for El Vaquero. Right now, all I have on my list is El Vaquero, but I'm there like all the time. And what I'm doing is I'll play a little set, bring up a special guest, and then we'll do like a big jam with some bandmates at the end. And that's kind of the format. And so the last set is always kind of a big spontaneous kind of thing. And it's fun. It's safe. People sitting there wear masks. We've been doing it for, I don't know, since July, and everybody's been fine. There's a food truck. There's always a great food truck in the parking lot. It's a nice scene. If you haven't gotten out in a while and you want to kind of test the waters, it's a good place to go. It's completely outdoors, and it's pretty, and the wine's good, and so are the people. So.
Well, fantastic, man. And just like I said, I love having you here, dude. You're welcome back anytime you want to come on to this show. We enjoy having you on. And everybody out there, like I said, if you're sitting there on YouTube, hit that like button, hit that share button. Dougie, there's Dougie over there. He's going to be back every time that we come back. I can't guarantee that we're going to be back every week, but whenever I can get a guest on, you're going to see this podcast called What?
Yeah. Oh, and also, if you're watching on YouTube, like look up me, because there's a bunch of.
There you go. Yeah, because Mike is all over the YouTube. So just Michael Gaither, type it into your little YouTube search box, and you'll come up with all his stuff. His zombie, what is it? The zombie stuff and
moving to Boise, which I'll never do. But
yeah.
Zombie stuff. My George Romero tribute,
He just has a lot of great songs out there. And hey, this is the new podcast. This is the new format we got. We're all about community and unity here. We're going to have guests on every time that you see us here. And when you don't see us here, we're coming up with devious things to do the next time. But right now, we just like to leave you right now with a great big bye-bye. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks, Doug.
Thank you, DJ Doug. And we will see you guys next time that we are on the What? What about this podcast? Take care, guys. All right.